Tottenham Hotspur sporting director Johan Lange has come out and said we wanted to bring in a couple more players in the January window, but it was not possible. All eyes now on the summer transfer window when Spurs will go into it with big ambitions. Hearts boss Derek McInnes on James Wilson's move to the Tottenham Hotspur under-21s. He has come out and said it is not the right move for him. And Fabio Paratici has now left Spurs, and Spurs are now looking to replace him, and the Daily Telegraph has stated that Spurs want to continue with two sporting directors. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I began for all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Now let's start by talking about the January transfer window. On Wednesday, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club released a video with Johan Lange, Tottenham sporting director, answering a number of questions on the January transfer window and looking ahead to the summer window. Now, first of all, he was asked about the January transfer window. He said, firstly, this is always an issue I enjoy doing because I think this gives me and a great opportunity to communicate directly with the fans around the transfer periods. I saw this window here as one of the quieter January transfer windows across not only the Premier League, but across football in general. I think we were, including free transfers, 33 transfers across the Premier League. That is a result of especially the new format in Europe. Now we have clubs competing in either the Champions League or Europa League during December, and of course during the last part of January as well. 48 teams progressing further in a European competition after the window. Johan Lange then went on to say, I think we saw that a little bit last year, and I think we have seen it even more this year, that it has changed the dynamic a little bit of the January transfer window with just less business being done. Of course, a knock-on effect of the increased fixture schedule is also that not only us, but a number of clubs would say that they have too many injuries. That meant that there were simply not enough available players across the whole marketplace during January. Now, Johan Lange spoke in a video, I think it was just over 8 minutes long, on Tottenham Hotspur's official YouTube channel. Please do check it out. He spoke out about Gallagher and Sosa, of course, our two signings for the January transfer window. Now, talking about the summer transfer window and the strategy and the types of players that Tottenham are looking for this summer, he said the summer market is where 8 or 9 out of 10 players, they move clubs. So we will go into the summer window with big ambitions of strengthening the team. We know there'll be more movements. We know that there'll be more opportunities. So the plans are already there. Can you see drawn up? We have a clear picture of which positions and also which profiles. Could we have brought in 1 or 2 more in this January transfer window? We would have been delighted to do so, but it was not a possibility. So we're looking forward to the summer now. Now we focus on the rest of the season, and that is very, very important as well because we have big objectives. We are still in the Champions League. We still, of course, want to be higher in the Premier League. And myself and others will have an eye already now directed towards the summer transfer window. On transfer deadline day, Spurs signed James Wilson from Hearts on loan with an option to buy him at the end of this season. Now, he will go into the under-21 squad, not the first team squad. Now, Hearts boss Derek McInnes feels the Tottenham Hotspur under-21s was not the right move for James Wilson on transfer deadline day. He said James wanted to go, so you don't want to keep a player who then becomes unhappy. I couldn't guarantee him minutes. Such is the way it's been. McInnes said, I told him and his agent that they knew our preference was to stay, fight for your place, be a part of something. You'll get a loan in Scotland if need be. You will then top up your minutes and we can maybe recall you so you still get the best of both worlds. But his head was turned with the Tottenham thing. First of all, it was Arsenal, then Arsenal went quiet, and then all of a sudden Tottenham Hotspur came in to the table on Monday afternoon. The Hearts boss then went on to say, I don't think it's the right move for him. Ultimately, it is academy football, and I think he is better than that, but it is something James wanted to do. So like I say, we made it clear that our preference was for him to stay and be a part of something here, but he has made the decision, and I hope it goes well for him because he is a great lad, and we will see how this plays out. But for us, I just need to concentrate now on the players who are here, who want to be here, and who want to play their part. Now, the Spurs under-19s were in action in the UEFA Youth League round of 32 on Wednesday evening. They were playing in Seville in Spain, playing Real Betis under-19s. Spurs actually took the lead in the game through Luca Williams-Barnett, but the final score, Real Betis 5, Tottenham Hotspur under-19s 1. Now, a couple of quick loan updates. On Wednesday evening, Mikey Moore scored against Kilmarnock for Rangers. He also assisted in the game as well. And Dane Scarlett recorded an assist in his first start for Hibernian in the 36th minute. Hibs beat Dundee United 3-2. The Daily Telegraph have just stated, following the conclusion of the transfer window that ended on Monday, Fabio Paratici has now left Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and has joined Serie A club Fiorentina as their new sporting director. Now, the Telegraph has stated that Spurs have already started the process of trying to find a replacement for Fabio Paratici. They want to keep the structure of having two sporting directors at Tottenham rather than giving all of the responsibility to Johan Lange. Various reports in Argentina are stating that Christian Romero will leave Tottenham Hotspur Football Club this summer. There is interest from La Liga clubs and clubs in other leagues around Europe. And Fabrizio Romano has just stated that Tottenham Hotspur rejected the chance to sign Jhon Durán on loan in January. Now, the club have just announced that Dominic Solanke and Xavi Simons have both been shortlisted for the Premier League Player of the Match Week. Of course, Match Week 24, where Spurs drew 2-2 at home against Manchester City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now, BBC Sport have just stated that Tottenham's offer to Antoine Semenyo is the most lucrative the Ghanaian forward received in the January transfer window, and he still went on to sign for Manchester City. BBC Sport have also stated that Tottenham were one of several clubs that tried to convince Marc Guéhi to join them on a free in the summer before his move to the Etihad Stadium. Now, just a reminder that the Spurs women will be playing Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this coming Sunday, 2:25pm kickoff in the WSL. Now, Spurs at the moment are fifth in the table, just 1 point away from Chelsea, who are currently third. Spurs are only 2 points away from second place. Now, the top three teams in the division play Champions League football, and Spurs have a real chance of Champions League football next season. There are 8 games left of this WSL season, and out of those 8 games, Spurs women will be playing 3 of them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium from now until the end of the campaign. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode, and let's start by talking about Johan Lange's interview on the official Spurs YouTube channel that was released on Wednesday. If you look at the comments under that video, there is a lot of frustration. There is a lot of frustration online. There is a lot of frustration amongst the whole Spurs fan base right now, because it does feel in a way that we haven't really given Thomas Frank the tools in order for us to finish in a European spot. And I said this on a previous episode, so I don't want to keep repeating myself, and I'm not going to go around in circles, but it does feel like an opportunity missed for me, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people feel exactly the same way. Yes, there were, a low number of deals done in the Premier League. I think Johan Lange said it was 33 deals across the 30-odd days of the winter window. But in my opinion, Spurs needed to really back Thomas Frank, back the manager, and just make sure that Spurs somehow scrape a European spot. And that doesn't seem to be far away if Thomas Frank has the help. Now, this last week or so, we have been down to bare bones in this squad. The Frankfurt away game, Christian Romero, of course, has come out and said that he was playing whilst he was ill. He played the first half of the Manchester City game whilst he was ill as well. Thomas Frank was down to bare bones. That first half was abysmal. Second half, somehow we clawed it back and got the draw and could have even won the game in the end. But it isn't sustainable to be playing like this in this way. And, Spurs need help. The manager needs help. When we are down to a very, very thin squad, Spurs need help, even if it was a couple of loans from, now until the end of the season. There are reports from the likes of Fabrizio Romano that Spurs could have signed Jhon Durán, but apparently, Spurs wanted to trust the loan with Cowlin. So they wanted him rather than someone like Jhon Durán coming in, who has got good Premier League experience. We know that he can score a goal or two in the Premier League. Cowlin has certainly struggled in the Premier League, in my opinion, certainly putting the ball in the net. But Spurs, I just feel that, we should have done a lot more in this transfer window. It's all well and good talking about everybody else, but it's about us that we needed to focus on and give the manager a chance to finish in a European spot. Now, I'm not being dramatic here. I'm being realistic. Is it realistic that Spurs finish in a European spot? When I look at the table right now, Spurs are 14th. We've got 29 points. Now, if you look at Brentford in 7th, they've got 36 points. Sunderland in 8th, 36 points. So we're 7 points away from those places that could be European spots this season. But of course, Spurs are only 3 points above 17th, where Nottingham Forest are right now. So what way does Spurs go? We have a lot of injury problems right now. Can we pick up results? Can we pick up more points than the teams around us and the teams just above us to get that European spot? I'm not so sure. I'd love to sit here and be really confident and say, yes, we're going to do it. But I can't be confident at all, particularly in the performances that I've seen this season. It is not convincing that we're going to pick up, those points. If we had a couple of additions in, if we had a little bit of depth in this squad, things could have been very, very different. I tell you what, I was gutted that first season under Ange Postecoglou when, of course, we didn't have any European football. That was gutting for me. Spurs should always, without question, doubt, anything, Spurs should always be in Europe, especially when we've got a stadium like we have and everyone bangs on about the stadium, the training facilities, etc., etc. Spurs should always be in Europe. Now, Johan Lange come out and said that, basically all eyes now are on the summer transfer window and Spurs go into the summer transfer window with big ambitions. Now, we see and hear all of these reports about, Spurs trying to sign Morgan Gibbs-White, Eze, Marc, Guéhi. The list is absolutely endless of players that Spurs apparently tried to sign. Antoine, Semenyo, another one. And it looks like Spurs wanted to go out and spend big money on big, talented players. Players that have been there, done it, got the T-shirt, know exactly how to walk into this team and, make a real impact, be that impact player on the pitch straight away. Look at Semenyo walking straight into the Manchester City team and being that impact player immediately. That is exactly what Spurs need to have right now. But we hear about all of these near signings. We hear about we tried this, and we tried to sign him, and him. I tell you what, it is not about talking anymore. It is about delivering. Spurs have to deliver in this summer transfer window because I tell you what, the frustration among the fan base right now, I think it is an all-time low. I don't think I've ever known the fan base to feel this low, particularly in the Premier League era, because Spurs should be doing a lot more. So Johan Lange, whoever is working on the transfers, whether it be Vinay Venkatesham as well, and the other board members, the Lewis family, etc., etc., Spurs now just need to deliver on the pitch. I have said for many, many years on many, many podcasts, on many, many editions of these types of episodes that we put out, that that the last world-class signing that we had was Jurgen Klinsmann back in 1994. Yes, we've had some great players over the years and we have turned good players into great players, but I'm talking about a world-class player at the time, a world-class player walking through that door where all of us have looked and gone, oh, wow, that is absolutely incredible. What an incredible signing. I hear from people that followed Spurs in the 80s, that is exactly how they felt when Ozzy and Ricky Villa walked through the door. I felt like that about Jurgen Klinsmann when we signed him just after the World Cup in 1994. That was an absolutely fantastic signing of a player, world-class player, walking through the door and everyone having, the air of excitement. And I want to feel like that again as a Spurs fan. And we need, vast quality injected into this squad if Spurs want to be anywhere near the top four and competing against those top clubs at the moment. Of course, we've got our North London rivals, Arsenal, sitting top of the Premier League. You've got City, you've got Villa doing extremely well now. And when you look at someone like Villa, in 2019, we were in a Champions League final. They were in the Championship. That is how they have grown, and this is exactly how Spurs have fallen in this period of time. In my opinion, every single time we have let a quality player leave and walk out the door, we have brought in a player nowhere near the quality of the player that has just gone out the door. And I feel like that has been a big issue at the football club. The recruitment has not been good enough. It is almost like Spurs just need to start again and, review absolutely every single policy at the football club. Vinay Venkatesham has come out and said in this 2-page statement or 2-page message to the fans, pre-match programme against West Ham, that he's identified, a number of the issues. He talks about leadership. He talks about quality, in this squad. And, I just feel like everyone is on the same page now. Every single Spurs fan is on the same page where it's like, look, we don't want to hear any of this anymore. I know they have to put statements out. I know they have to put messages out. I know they have to communicate. And of course, Johan Lange probably felt very awkward about talking about the January transfer window where Spurs, yes, we brought in 2 players, but that is not good enough for this season. It's almost like this season is going to be a write-off. And we've now got to just wait until the summer. But Spurs have to deliver. Johan Lange saying that we've got big ambitions in the summer. Vinay Venkatesham in the statement or the message that he put out, Spurs have to deliver. I can't see how they cannot deliver in the summer when they are saying the things that they are. Spurs have to go huge in the summer and bring in real quality and also offload players that aren't good enough and aren't going to take this club forward. I think that we need to be absolutely ruthless. I've said this before and I'll say it again. We need to be absolutely ruthless in the summer transfer window. As Johan Lange said, 8 or 9 players out of 10 move clubs. And, Spurs need to have a major shake-up if Spurs want to be competing on all fronts. And that is exactly the term that they have used on a number of occasions. Now, Spurs want to remain to have 2 sporting directors. Now, Fabio Paratici has left. Now, of course, Johan Lange, Fabio Paratici and Vinay Venkatesham said at the time when Fabio actually came back that it was really good to have 2 sporting directors. So let's see how that pans out. Let's see who comes in next. I feel like we have lost a real good sporting director in Fabio Paratici, but of course he wanted to leave Spurs for personal reasons, going back to Italy, so wishing him all of the very best. But of course it is all about us. Who do we bring in next? Another major change at the football club, and I feel like I say this month after month, particularly during Ange Postecoglou's time at Spurs, and particularly now under the short time that Thomas Frank has been here. Now, Hearts boss Derek McInnes on James Wilson's move to Tottenham. He said it's not the right move for him. Do you know what? I completely agree. I completely agree with him. How much game time is he going to get in the under-21s? Will he play very much for the under-21s? He's played a lot of Scottish Premiership football. So this is going to be an interesting one. But if you were James Wilson, you'd absolutely want to come to Tottenham. You'd absolutely want to have that dream of playing in the Premier League. And of course, as the report stated, in the last couple of days. I think it was from Edinburgh Evening News. They stated that this is an option to buy, so both the club and the player can suss each other out whether this is going to work or not. But it must be a dream move for him. But in terms of his quality and in terms of him playing Scottish Premiership football to now going to the under-21s playing Premier League 2 football, it does seem a bit of an odd move. But he must have that dream of playing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the first team at Spurs. So best of luck to him. I really do hope that it works out. And watch this space on that one. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Now, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe and well. Keep smiling and come on, you Spurs.